What if a single coin in your drawer was worth hundreds of thousands or even millions? Today, we reveal 4 ultra-rare US and UK coins with mind-blowing value and hidden history. Stay to the end, you won't believe what one coin just sold for at auction. Let's start with the basics. In 1976, the United States celebrated its 200th birthday, also called the bicentennial. To honor the event, the US Mint made special coins. They changed the designs for the quarter, half dollar, and dollar. The quarter got a brand new design with a drummer boy on the back and the word 1776 to 1976 on the front. These special quarters were made in huge numbers. In fact, over 1.6 billion of them were produced, so most of them are not rare and are worth only 25 cents. But some of them came out with mistakes. These are called mint errors, and some of those mistakes turned a normal coin into something extremely rare and valuable. One of the rarest is the 1976 D quarter that was struck on a silver planchet. Now let me explain that in easy words. Most quarters made in Denver that year were made of copper and nickel. But some coins from the San Francisco Mint were made of 40% silver for collectors. Somehow, a silver coin blank that was supposed to be used in San Francisco ended up being used in Denver by mistake. That should not have happened, and it makes this coin super rare. Only a few of these 1976 D silver quarters are known to exist. Because they were not supposed to be made, collectors go crazy for them. One of them sold for over $93,000. Another sold for more than $110,000. Experts believe that if one of these coins is found in perfect condition, it could be worth as much as $150,000 or even $160,000. That's a life-changing amount of money for a single coin that looks just like any other quarter. So how do you know if you have one of these rare quarters? First, check the date. It should say 1776 to 1976. Then look for a small letter, D, on the front of the coin, just to the right of Washington's ponytail. That D means the coin was made in Denver. If there's no letter or it has an S or P, it's not the one we're talking about here. Next, check the coin's weight. Regular quarters weigh about 5.67 grams. The rare silver ones weigh a little more, around 5.75 to 5.80 grams. You'll need a digital scale that measures to the hundredth of a gram. If your coin weighs more than 5.7 grams, it's worth checking out. Also, look at the edge of the coin. Most quarters have a copper stripe along the edge. That's the inner layer showing through. But silver quarters don't have that stripe. The edge should be all silver or gray looking. If yours looks like that and has the D mint mark, you might have something special. If your quarter passes all those tests, do not clean it. Cleaning a coin can lower its value. Instead, send it to a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC. They will check if it's real, tell you its condition, and give it a grade. The higher the grade, the more it's worth. A well-preserved coin can sell for way more than one with scratches or wear. Now, silver planchet errors are not the only valuable bicentennial quarter mistakes. There are others too. Some coins were struck off-center, meaning the design is not in the right place. Others were struck on the wrong kind of metal or were double-struck, meaning the machine hit the coin twice. These types of errors can also be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. But the silver 1976 D quarter is the king of them all. That's the one that could make you $90,000, $110,000, or even $160,000 richer. And the best part? These coins made it into circulation. That means someone could have spent it at a store without even knowing. You might get one in your change, at a garage sale, or in a roll of quarters from the bank. They are out there, and finding one is like finding treasure. That's why collectors, YouTubers, and coin lovers always say check your change. It's not just a hobby, it can be a way to make real money. It's also a fun and exciting way to learn about history, money, and rare items. Now imagine this. You're at a gas station. You pay in cash. The cashier gives you 3 quarters back. One of them looks old. You look closer, and it's a 1776 to 1976 quarter with a D mint mark. You take it home, weigh it, and realize it might be silver. You send it to be graded, and a few months later, someone pays you $120,000 for it. All because you took a few seconds to check your change. Crazy, right? But it happens. Not every day, of course, and not to everyone, but it has happened before, and it could happen again. That's why this story is so exciting. It's not just about coins, it's about surprise, history, and the idea that something small can be worth something big. So next time you get a quarter in your change, don't ignore it. Look at the date. Check the mint mark. Weigh it if you can. Look at the edge. And most importantly, don't spend it until you know what you've got. Because that little coin might just be your ticket to something amazing. Have you ever looked at an old coin and thought, this might be worth something? Well, what if I told you that one small coin, just a 2-pence piece from 1975, could be worth over $165,000? Yes, you heard that right. A tiny copper coin, the kind you might have forgotten in a drawer or found in a change jar, could be worth more than some houses. This isn't a joke. There's a very rare and strange version of the 1975 2-new-pence coin that collectors are paying thousands and even hundreds of thousands of dollars for. This is one of the most exciting stories in coin collecting, and by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, and who knows, you might be sitting on a fortune right now. Let's go back in time for a moment. In 1971, the UK changed its money system to what we call decimalisation. That means they switched from the old pounds and shillings to a simpler system using 100 pence in a pound. To help people understand the change, the new coins had the words, new pence, on them. So from 1971 up to 1975, all the new 2p coins said, new pence, instead of just, 2 pence. It was a way to help people know they were using the new money and not the old one. Now, in 1976, the Royal Mint, that's the place that makes the coins, decided that people were used to the new system. So they changed the words on the 2p coin from new pence to 2 pence. After 1975, no coin should say new pence anymore. That's why something very strange happened when collectors found a 1975 2p coin that still said new pence. That was a big mistake. A coin from 1975 was never supposed to be made with those words. That's where the magic of this story begins. The Royal Mint says they didn't even make any 2p coins for normal use in 1975. Maybe a few were made for coin sets or as test coins, but not for spending in shops. So if a 1975 2p coin with the words, new pence, exists, it's something extremely rare. Only a few may have been made, maybe by accident, or maybe as test coins that somehow got out into the world. Some experts say there could be fewer than 10 of these coins. Some even think there might only be 2 or 3 that have ever been seen. Because of how rare this coin is, collectors are willing to pay big money to get one. A real 1975 2p coin with the new pence wording can be worth $96,000, $118,000, or in perfect condition, even up to $165,000. That's an unbelievable amount for a coin that looks just like the ones we use to spend on candy or put into a piggy bank. But that's the world of rare coins. When a coin has a mistake, especially one that was never supposed to exist, its value can go through the roof. So what went wrong? Why does this coin even exist? Some people believe that old tools, called dies, were used by mistake. These are the metal parts that stamp the design onto coins. Someone at the mint might have used the wrong die that still said, new pence, instead of the updated version. Another theory is that it was a test coin, also called a pattern coin, made for checking the machines. These usually never leave the mint, but maybe 1 or 2 slipped out. Some even believe someone took them on purpose. Whatever the reason, we know one thing for sure: these coins should not be out there, and that's exactly why collectors want them so badly. Now, here's the exciting part. You might be thinking, okay, how do I know if I have one? Well, it's pretty easy to check. First, look at the date. If you have a 2p coin with the date 1975, hold on to it. Then, flip it over and look at the words above the number 2. If it says, 2 pence, then it's normal. But if it says, new pence, then you might have just hit the jackpot. But be careful, there are fake coins out there, and some people try to change coins to look like rare ones. If you think yours might be real, take it to a coin expert or send it to a coin grading company like NGC or PCGS. They will tell you if it's real and give it a grade, which also affects the value. Condition matters a lot in coins. A coin that is shiny, clean, and doesn't have scratches is worth more than one that's dirty or damaged. If you found one that looks brand new, untouched, and has the new pence words with the 1975 date, then you might be holding the most valuable version of all, the one that could reach over $165,000 at auction. So, why does all of this matter? Because this story shows us that treasure is sometimes hiding in plain sight. A small coin in your house, in an old jar, or in a box of pocket change could be life-changing. You don't need to be rich to find it. You just need to be lucky and know what to look for. And that's why this story is so exciting. Imagine walking into a coin shop, or showing your granddad's old coins to someone, and discovering one of the rarest coins in British history. It's like winning the lottery, but with something that's been sitting quietly for years. So what should you do now? Go check your coins. Look through your change, your old collection, your family's savings jar. You never know what might be waiting. Even if you don't find the 1975 new pence coin, there are other rare coins out there too. This one just happens to be one of the most famous and valuable of them all. Now, let's go back in time for a second. In 1964, quarters were made of 90% silver. That's how it had been for years. But in 1965, the US Mint decided to stop using silver in quarters because the price of silver was going up fast, and people were hoarding coins. So starting in 1965, all new quarters were made from a cheaper metal, copper and nickel. The silver ones were gone, or at least, that's what we thought. Here's where the story gets crazy. Even though all quarters made in 1965 were supposed to be copper-nickel, a few were accidentally struck using the old silver blanks. That's what coin experts call a transitional error, when the mint changes something, but a few coins get made with the old material. In this case, someone at the mint didn't clear out the old silver blanks from the machine. So a tiny number of 1,965 quarters were printed on silver by mistake. And today, those quarters are worth a fortune. We're not talking about rare coins that only rich collectors can afford. We're talking about something that could literally be in a handful of loose change. A coin that looks almost exactly like every other 1965 quarter, same size, same shape, same design. But if it's silver instead of copper-nickel, it could be worth $35,000, $85,000, even up to $172,500 depending on its condition and who's buying. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is the rare silver one? Good question. First, you need a small digital scale. Weigh the coin. A normal 1965 quarter should weigh about 5.67 grams. But the rare silver error will weigh more, about 6.25 grams, because silver is heavier than copper-nickel. That's the first and biggest clue. If your 1965 quarter weighs close to 6.25 grams, don't spend it. You might be holding a six-figure coin. Next, check the edge of the coin. A regular quarter has a copper-colored line along the edge, because the inside is copper. But a silver quarter won't have that. The edge will look solid gray or white, that's pure silver. Still not sure? You can also tap the coin gently on a table or hard surface. Silver coins make a higher, more ringing sound than clad coins. But be careful, don't damage it. If you think you have one of these coins, the smartest thing to do is send it to a professional grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will test the coin, confirm if it's real silver, and give it a grade based on its condition. That official grade can boost the value of the coin big time. Let me give you some real numbers. One silver 1965 quarter in excellent condition sold at auction for $105,750. Another one in nearly perfect shape sold for $172,500. That's not a typo. Someone paid over $172,000 for a coin worth 25 cents on paper. Even lower grade versions of the silver 1965 quarter have sold for $35,000 or more. That's more than some people make in a whole year. And these coins are out there. Not many, but they exist, and a few are still waiting to be found. That's what makes this so exciting. Now you might be wondering, why haven't more people found them yet? The truth is, most people don't know they exist. If they do, they don't check. They just spend the quarter or toss it in a coin jar. But if you take a few seconds to check your change, especially your older coins, you might get lucky. And it's not just the silver error you should look for. Some 1965 quarters also have other mistakes, like double dies, off-center strikes, or wrong planchets. These kinds of errors can also be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars. But the big one, the one worth up to $172,000, is the silver 1965 quarter. That's the jackpot. Here's a quick tip: go through any old coin rolls you might have at home. Or ask the bank for quarter rolls and search through them. You'd be surprised how many older coins still slip through the cracks. And yes, silver coins still show up in circulation, especially in coin machines, vending machines, and parking meters. Some people just don't know what they have. And don't worry, you don't need to be a coin expert to find one. Just remember the weight test, the edge test, and the sound test. If something looks or feels different, take a closer look. If it weighs more than 6 grams and has no copper edge, it's time to get it checked. You might be holding something incredibly rare. I don't know about you, but every time I see a 1965 quarter now, I stop and look a little closer. And after watching this, I hope you will too. Because someone out there found one of these coins in a pile of regular quarters and turned it into over $100,000. Why not you? Before I go, I want to ask you something. What would you do if you found a $172,000 quarter in your pocket? Would you keep it, sell it, frame it? Let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear your story. And if this video helped you or taught you something new, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I've got more videos coming up about rare coins that could be hiding in plain sight. Let me explain how this coin came to be. In 1999, the U.S. Mint started a special program. They made quarters for each of the 50 states. These quarters had different designs on the back. Each design showed something important from that state. The Connecticut quarter shows the famous charter oak tree. It's a strong, beautiful tree and a big part of the state's history. The front of the coin still shows George Washington, just like every other quarter. This special quarter was made in 2 places: Philadelphia and Denver. If your quarter has a small d under the date, that means it came from Denver. That's the one we are talking about, the 1999 D Connecticut quarter. Now, millions of these coins were made. Over 600 million came from Denver. So most of them are very common. But a small number were made with mistakes. These are called error coins. And these are the ones that are now worth a lot of money. Only a few were found, which makes them very rare. And when a coin is rare, collectors will pay big money to own one. One of the most valuable types of this coin is one with a double strike error. This means the coin was hit 2 times by the machine instead of once. When this happens, the design looks strange. The picture might look like it's been moved or repeated. It might look like it's melting or stretching. Another rare error is called a die cap. That's when one coin sticks to the machine and keeps stamping other coins, making the design come out wrong. These coins look almost like little domes, or like the image is stamped deep into the coin. There are also off-metal strikes. That means the coin was made on the wrong kind of metal, like maybe on a dime blank or even a foreign coin blank. That makes it even more unique and valuable. Some coins were even found with a clipped planchet, where a part of the coin is missing. It looks like someone took a bite out of the edge. But the damage has to happen during the minting process, not later. These types of errors don't happen often, and most never leave the mint. But a few of these error coins made it out into the world. People have found them in pocket change, in coin rolls from the bank, and even in old coin jars. That's why it's so exciting. You don't need to be rich to find one. You just need to look closely at your coins. So how do you check your quarter? First, look for the 1999 date and the letter D below it. That's the Denver Mint version. Then flip the coin and check the back. Look closely at the tree design. Does it look off? Is it doubled? Is it blurry, stretched, or pressed weird? Does it have parts missing? If it does, you might have a valuable coin. Use a magnifying glass or your phone's camera to zoom in. Take your time. If something looks wrong, don't spend the coin. Now you might ask, how much is it worth? A regular 1999 D Connecticut quarter is just 25 cents. But a rare error version in great shape can sell for $98,000. Some with clear, strong errors and in perfect condition have sold for $120,000 or even $169,000. That's a huge amount of money for a coin that most people ignore. It's like winning the lottery with change in your pocket. But you have to make sure the coin is real. There are fake coins out there. Some people try to damage coins to make them look like errors. That's why you should always have your coin checked by an expert. The best way is to send it to a coin grading company like PCGS or NGC. They will look at the coin, test it, and give it a grade. They'll also confirm if the error is real. Once graded, your coin will be sealed in a special case. That makes it easier to sell and gives buyers trust in what they're getting. If you ever find a rare coin, don't clean it. That can ruin the value. Just store it safely and send it to be graded. Even coins with small errors can sell for thousands. The better the condition, the higher the price. Isn't it crazy to think something so small can be worth so much? That's the fun part of coin collecting. You never know what treasure you might find. A coin you've had for years, sitting in a drawer, could be the one that changes your life. People who don't even collect coins are finding these hidden gems. It could happen to anyone. So what should you do now? Go check your coins. Look through your pocket change. Ask your family if they have old quarters. Look for the 1999 D Connecticut quarter. And take a good, close look. If it looks strange, don't ignore it. You could be holding something very special. These rare coins are not just worth money. They're part of history. They tell the story of how something went wrong, but ended up being worth even more because of it. That's what makes them so cool. That's why collectors want them. And that's why you should check your coins today.